back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. You know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
UFC's undisputed featherweight champion Max Holloway's holding out for a better UFC contract before agreeing to his next fight. That fight's supposed to be against Frankie Edgar. It'll be Max Holloway's first official title defense since dismantling Jose Aldo at UFC 2 something. It doesn't matter. At one of these pay-per-views, he took Jose Aldo out. Man, it was a really dominant performance for Max Holloway, the young champion. He said before that fight that the UFC promised him that if he got the job done, it was big game hunting. If he went out there and he was able to beat Jose Aldo impressively, they would give him anything he asked for, and now he's waiting on them to fulfill that promise. He's holding out, and usually this doesn't go good for the fighters. The fans start to say, oh, you're holding out, just fight, man, what the fuck. It's very rarely that you're gonna see people happy that the champions are holding out and not fighting over contract issues, but this is one scenario where I think Max Holloway's doing the right thing for multiple reasons. For one, the UFC told him, you know, Max Holloway had to go on a fucking like 9-fight winning streak for one to get the title. You'll see some guys get 2 knockouts and get fucking skipped over the top 5 and get a title shot. Max Holloway had to earn his way all the way to the title shot, 9 fights. So not only is he one of the best fighters in the world, but he's making his own star. He's not trying to ride the coattails off of anybody else. He understands the idea of entertainment. He's working on his trash talk. He's actually got some good trash talk. He sells his fights, and he's very young as a champion, 9-fight winning streak. He beat Anthony Pettis, first guy to finish Anthony Pettis in the interim featherweight title fight. Then he went on and dismantled Jose Aldo, and the UFC promised him if he was able to get the job done, be in big game hunting, that they'd give him whatever he wanted. So this is also the time that Max Holloway will have the most bargaining potential. If you've got a good manager, this is your time for leverage, because the UFC really has no choice but to kind of give in. Now, they don't have to give you everything you're asking for, but you do. The saying is, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. So this is just crazy numbers, but let's say they ask for $2 million per fight as the champion. Then the UFC, they're going to have to come somewhere close, just for the simple fact that what are they going to do? Say, no, just go ahead and sit out, Max Holloway. We don't need you fighting. The UFC is in need of their champions fighting. They're in need of new stars, which Max Holloway could very well be. The UFC is in need right now, and they've got a little bit of money, you have to think. I mean, regardless of, they are trying to save money, but you can't let somebody like Max Holloway go. You know what I'm saying? You can let them just sit out for very long. That's why this is the perfect time for Max Holloway, even though it's gonna fucking suck if this doesn't get done soon. Hopefully this doesn't fucking go on for multiple months, because hopefully they can get this done for the end of the year card. Maybe Detroit, maybe December 30th. That's my guess. My guess is they'll get the deal done by December 30th, and we'll see Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar December 30th. But it will be interesting to see how these contract negotiations go, because Max Holloway's team, I'm sure they're asking for, you know, their fair share, what they believe is their fair share. But the UFC, you know, is stern. These contract negotiations, who knows how they go all the time. Usually they're probably going to come to a middle ground somewhere, because Max Holloway, he doesn't seem like the guy that's fucking, he likes to fight. Max Holloway seems like one of those guys. When you talk about athletes that fight and actual fighters, Max Holloway's a champion that's a real fucking fighter. He has fun in there. He's not gonna try and coast to a win. Even if he's winning a fight, he's gonna get in there and fucking bang with you just to fight, bro. Max Holloway is one of my favorite fighters, so hopefully these contract negotiations go well for him. We'll see what happens. I think the UFC is going to pay him what he's asking for. I don't know how much he's asking for, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get this deal done. You really can't have Max Holloway out for too long. He's one of your future stars, one of the futures of MMA alone. Like, there's no chance he goes to another organization. And you got to have you want your champion fighting sooner than later. You've got to fill up some of these pay-per-views. So if Max Holloway's probably doing the right thing here, hopefully it doesn't last too long, but it is what it is. Let the hater know what the fuck you talking about in the comments. Dude. What do you call a guy with a rubber toe? Roberto.